These are the volcanic landscapes of the Timanfaya National Park, which is located on the Canary island of Lanzarote. They were formed as a result of volcanic eruptions in the 18th and the 19th century. Because of its unique otherworldly terrain, it is a tourist hotspot. But it also attracts space engineers, geologists, and astronauts. Let's find out why. I am now joined by Loredana Bessone, who is the head of Analog Field Testing and Exploration Training Unit at the European Space Agency. Loredana also leads ESA's Pangea Project, under which astronauts are trained at Lanzarote and other similar sites for future missions to the Moon and Mars. Thank you, Loredana, for joining us. First of all, why is Lanzarote an ideal training ground for astronauts?
Well, thank you for having me here and for talking about Pangea. Lanzarote is a fantastic ground for training astronauts to go to the Moon and Mars because it's a UNESCO geopark that has been recognized and an analog of Mars. And it is a barren terrain, very dry, where you see very, very little vegetation. There has been very recent eruptions that have left the lava flows covering the terrain. So when you're in Lanzarote, especially if you're in the geopark close to Timanfaya National Park, you pretty much look like you are on the Moon or Mars. And it's really fantastic because it not only has the right geological setting, but it also looks like it's totally barren and you're isolated on a different planet.
Right. Now, what kind of training do the astronauts undergo at Lanzarote?
The Pangea training is composed of different sessions where we train different geological processes and products that are typical of the Moon, Mars, and asteroids. And in Lanzarote, we train volcanism. So we train them to recognize rocks that are volcanic rocks like basalt. We also train them to perform traverses, field geological traverses on a terrain, which is a Mars or Moon terrain. So they learn to do what Apollo astronauts were doing during the Apollo missions.
Now, what is the Pangea Project?
So the Pangea Project is a course in planetary geology that is composed of a series of sessions that are partially theoretical, but very, very much practical. So we bring the astronauts on field sites, analogs to Moon, Mars, and asteroids that have the same geological characteristics that Moon and Mars have. So we take them to sites that are volcanic, like Lanzarote, but also sites that are sedimentary. Have sedimentary environments like what you have now on the Moon. We also take them to impact craters, which are what you see on the Moon. The Moon is full of impacts from meteorites. We also take them to sites that have similarity with the highlands of the Moon. If you want, the Moon is black and white. So the black part are basalts that are volcanic environment extrusive. So what you see is very similar to Lanzarote. And the white part is very reflective, and they are rocks that are intrusive rock, crystalline rocks that have formed under the ground. And we also train them on this type of rock. So all the type of environments that they can find on Moon and Mars. That is what the Pangea trains them. So Pangea trains astronauts from all space agencies to become scientists that can be the remote hands and remote eyes of scientists that work with them on Earth.
When was this project launched and how many astronauts have been trained so far?
This project was launched in 2016. We had 5 editions so far. I think we had 7 European astronauts, 2 American astronauts, 1 Russian cosmonaut, and a couple of engineers that have been trained in this course so far. And we will continue this year with a new group of astronauts.
Fascinating stuff. Thank you very much, Loredana, for your time.
Thank you for having us here and for talking about Pangea. And let's go to the Moon.